Well, the new patch is here, and combat has had some massive changes to it. There have been a ton of bug fixes with this new patch, and there's been a few changes to just some base gameplay design stuff, like we can now finally get our Umbral Shards from playing Outpost Rush. Now, lots of people, myself included, have really been looking forward to a lot of the changes that this patch brings, so let's talk about what's better and what's worse now. The obvious first one is going to be combat. Combat feels better now. You can actually animation cancel your light and heavy attacks with a block or a roll dodge. Not to mention swap feels a lot cleaner than it used to, and just in general your abilities feel smoother to use than they used to. Now, unfortunately, with all of these sweeping changes to how combat works, there is a bit of performance issues in Outpost Rush. I didn't run into the issues outside of Outpost Rush, thankfully, but I think it just has to do with a lot of players being on the screen at the same time more than anything. And I would get some positional desyncs and a bit of lag. It wasn't very nice to deal with, but it wasn't happening all the time. This is something I definitely want to see Amazon improve over the next couple weeks as they apply some hotfixes to this patch. On the plus side, it's really awesome to be able to start amassing Umbral Shards. I've literally done no endgame dungeons and only crafted a handful of gold gear, so for the most part, all of my stuff is 600 gear score or less, and yeah, finally upgrading my Rapier and my Fire Staff, and I'm going to work on those expertise. Outpost Rush is basically a viable endgame mode now. So without further ado, I've got some highlights of today's Outpost Rush gear grind. I hope that you guys enjoy. Fire Staff Rapier feeling pretty interesting this patch. Fire Staff is stronger and Rapier is weaker. So let's get right into that PvP commentary. And as you guys can see, I've been doing a little bit of fighting on the road here. Took down the first enemy mage that came by with quite a nice flesh combo, and then I'm left to fight this other guy. We're just kind of exchanging fireballs with each other. My build is definitely spec'd more into Rapier damage than Fire Staff damage, so in the ranged confrontation, I have a bit of a disadvantage, and that guy actually gets down by a friendly player while he's winding up the burnout, and an enemy spear player comes charging in. I get a good riposte on him, and then just feed him a few just quick light attack backstabs after that flesh. Great damage into him, and then I back up a little bit, and that friendly sniper finishing off that next player for me, and then he puts an incredible amount of damage into that next one. And I move towards the enemy outpost here with one friendly player, and we start capping it. Two enemy players come in. The Great Axe guy throws down the Maelstrom. Maelstrom's snare is really brutal this patch. It pulls you into the center, and it kind of bugs your character out sometimes. There you see I got hit by the Maelstrom, and I literally can't use any skills or roll or do anything for like 7 seconds. I'm just locked in place. So there you go. The first kind of issue that I've been running into is that positional desync, and it seems like Maelstrom and the Ice Shower are two of the biggest culprits that are causing these problems for me. Either way, I work my way back up into the keep here, and I just start throwing down fireballs and the pillar of fire on the ground. This guy ends up coming up, dodging both of the fireballs, and I just roll towards him and poke him with the rapier. Heavy attack as I drop off the edge, and then I flash right away into the evade to break away from the enemy player before he stuns me with the hammer there. The Great Axe player follows me up to the top. I drop both my Fire Staff AoEs, and I eventually managed to get the riposte on that guy, but I'll be honest, riposte is pretty sticky sometimes. I don't know what's wrong with it this patch, but it definitely isn't working better than it was last patch, so that's one of the bugs that I would have loved to see Amazon fix. Either way, I go for a kite back around the outside of the keep here. Twice in a row, kind of forced to reset due to abilities not doing what they're supposed to. And there I managed to get a good riposte on that player, go for the heavy attack into the evade just to bounce away, and then for the burnout right through them again, into the flesh. Lots of movement with the gap closers. I get a good dodge on that incoming attack. There I land a nice clean riposte, works just fine that time, and throw the fireball on the ground. And I actually managed to down that player in the back that was very low hit points, go for the flesh on the rapier to finish him off. And now I've got a few players in the middle here with me, and I'm going to be honest, I love playing the Rapier up close this patch, thanks to the increased control that you have and the reduced recovery windows on the Rapier. You can do so much good dodge game with it. There you see, I actually do get hit with the stun from the spear player there. The other player goes for the gravity well on top, but I'm able to escape with the flesh. And another gravity well hits me from behind there. You see how it just pulls me right into the middle. I think maybe the issue with your character being locked so hard is when gravity well pulls you. I'm not sure. But as you can see, my character has no problem using the burnout to go back through the gravity well this time, so I guess I'll take it. The enemy players come rushing in. I try to hit him with a little bit of a poke there, take a bit of damage, go for the riposte, but I'm a little early on it, and they start ganging up on me a little bit. I go up the staircase as they chase, quick turnaround into the burnout, and then feed them the fireballs, throw the pillar of fire on the ground to put a bit of damage into the first player there, and he ends up chasing. I get hit by that nasty spear stun, go for the flesh with my rapier, and I just miss the entrance to the staircase there, and that lock in place pretty much cost me there, and I end up going down. But I really wanted to show you guys that fight in particular because when the game worked, it was fantastic, but there were definitely some issues, especially in OPR this patch. So yeah, Amazon, definitely something I want to see you guys take care of. I don't like poor performance in a PvP game. Now moving on here, I did a little bit of open world PvP as well, and it was a lot cleaner. And here you can see I've got a couple Great Axe goons on top of me. The one guy goes for an attack, I quickly riposte that. The other guy throws down his gravity well, and I'm able to roll out of it. I'll be honest, with the additional distance that light armor rolls now, gravity well is a lot easier to avoid initially than it used to be. And on top of it, the additional drag from the roll or time you spend in the roll allows you to do an easier job avoiding things like the long duration Warhammer stuns and stuff like that. And here you can see I'm just doing my best to kite them as hard as I can and apply as much pressure as possible. A third Great Axe goon comes charging in as well. And now I'm in a little bit of trouble. There comes the gravity well. Thank God I've got the riposte ready. Get the counter stun, the heavy attack into the evade just to move backwards again. And they all start chasing me. Go for the burnout right through them. With the additional movement speed that all melee fighters have, because they don't take that snare anymore, I think it's better to try to roll behind your opponents when you're dodging attacks as opposed to trying to roll away from them, because they'll just keep chasing you in that direction. Either way, I managed to land a nice riposte on that guy, finish him off with a heavy attack into the flesh combo. The other guy ends up peacing out, and this last guy runs in towards the NPCs here, the guy that I had initially started fighting in this fight. And after a little bit of a scrimmage with the NPCs, finally kill all of them. I'm left to fight just him. And just keep the pressure up with the fireballs. He goes for his hammer smash there. I go for the riposte, and he ends up swinging the wrong way, so I don't get the counter stun. And he kites around the building and then dumps the gravity well. I've got the flesh up, though, so I'm able to escape it. And I just start feeding this guy some fire staff attacks. Go for the burnout to get right on top of him, and there's the rapier heavy attack. Dodge the incoming stun from the hammer. Get the riposte on his next heavy attack there, and then just stay right on his tail using the light attack and the evade pokes with the rapier. Now I've got one more fight for you guys here in OPR. An axe guy behind me with a hammer, and there's a healer up top, and I just start feeding this guy heavy attacks. He just stands there a little bit and dodges the attacks initially. That's okay. Not really gonna try to use too many cooldowns here. Wait for him to go for the stun, and he catches me with it right away. But I do manage to get the counter riposte thanks to that one piece of freedom that I have on my gear. I'll be honest though, with the nerf to Rapier, I really think that refreshing is the way to go for Rapier this patch. I would say like full refreshing, if you can get it, would help immensely with not only evade, but all the other Rapier skills too. Unfortunately, I don't have any refreshing on because I still have my old 600 gear score gear from way back in the day, and all my expertise are really bad. So with the Outpost Rush grind, I am hoping to be able to get myself some proper refreshing gear. There were some fun little combos I was testing in full refreshing on the PTR that I really want to be able to try on the live server. And as you guys can see, he actually throws the gravity well down, and I just go into holding block. Pretty good defense if you get the gravity well dumped on you like that, and you have the full bar of stamina. You can just kind of tank it out like that. That being said, you can't block ranged attacks, so it only works against certain things. Not so great against the Ice Gauntlet snare. And I managed to get a huge Fire Staff combo off on that player there, and the Great Axe Hammer guy ends up running inside. I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of the fight as I say goodbye. If you want to catch some live stuff from me, you can always give me a follow on Twitch. Give me a follow on Twitter if you want to keep up to date with what's going on with me. I also post when I'm going live on Twitch there for you guys too. You can check out my website, pvpnewworld.com, for written guides to all of my builds, as well as some feature build and information on the game. And of course, I will be updating this build in the very near future for you guys, so look forward to that. If you have an awesome fight that you want to share and see featured in the New World Top 5 Battles, you can send it to Kristofer at pvpnewworld.com. This show is sponsored by What the Fast. They're a VPN for gamers. They can give you better ping to your favorite games, free to try for the first month. There's a link down below in the description for you guys. And last but not least, a massive thank you and shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. Without you guys, I couldn't do it, so thank you so much for supporting. I hope you guys are all enjoying the new patch, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. As always, I'll see you next time. Have a great night, everyone.